past 2 years, the way we've been living, it might have been necessary to live that way, but it's been abnormal. And when you live and behave in an abnormal way, you are going to feel abnormal. You're not going to feel or think 100% normal. So in this video, I want to discuss the mental health implications post lockdown. Now, excuse the bedhead, but yeah, things on the outside now resemble to a large degree how things resembled on the outside 3 years ago. So all the restrictions have been eased here in Ireland. It's brilliant. Physically we are now free. Mentally, however, many of us are still locked down. So while we are free to do X, Y and Z, we have grown so used to doing the same thing each and every day that our zest for doing the things that we once done and can now do, it's like so a lot of people are feeling that way. I for one, I am feeling that way. I'm excited now that things are opening back up, but at the same time I've grown into such a habit of doing the same thing each and every day that now getting myself back into a real world routine, it's not easy. I have to force myself to do it, I have a question for you, right? If I was to ask you to close your eyes and bring to mind the image of a severely depressed person. So let's say you close your eyes, sitting in front of you is someone who is depressed. They're not talking, they're just sitting there. Do you think by just looking at them, if they were severely depressed, that you'd be able to tell? You more than likely would. Their posture, their actions, the way they talk, their facial expressions, they might have a droopy face, kind of sad eyes, their voice might be really low, etc, etc. Now, on the other hand, if I was to ask you to close your eyes and to imagine someone sitting in front of you that is really, really enthusiastic, really, really motivated and has a real zest for life, do you think there'd be a physical difference there? Do you think that they'd be talking like this, or do you think that they'd be talking differently, a bit quicker and with a bit more volume in their voice, their facial expression? How do you think their facial expression might look? Now, what am I getting at with that? Basically, our actions, our behaviours are intimately linked to our emotions and to our thoughts. So if we're thinking and feeling a certain way, our actions, not all the time, but generally will tend to reflect that. So if you're thinking and feeling sad, your actions may resemble that in terms of your posture, your facial expression, your voice. In terms of your activities, you might avoid things that you'd usually do when you're feeling good and upbeat, etc, etc. When we are thinking and feeling a certain way, let's say good, but we embody the behaviourisms of someone who was not thinking and feeling that way, so someone who was severely depressed, those behaviours, those actions eventually disrupt our thinking and emotional state. So we might go from thinking and feeling good to beginning to kind of think and feel a bit bad about ourselves, like that, merely as a result of acting as if you are severely depressed. Now, if you were to go onto Google and type in behaviours of severely depressed people, what you will find is a list of behaviours that the majority of the world have been embodying every day for the past 2 years as a result of being locked down and restrictions and stuff like that. So isolating themselves from the world, staying at home most of the time. These are generally behaviours that we'll see amongst people, severely depressed people. We've been living that way for the past 2 years, and it's become a habit to live that way. And now that we are free, the mind is still kind of stuck for many people, not for everyone, but for many people, like that. So it's time that we put the attention on this and we get people back to normal physically in the real world, but also give people the tools, the support, the encouragement to get themselves back to normal mentally and emotionally too, So before I go, I just want to let you know that yes, I'm a personal trainer. I help people get physically healthier. I help people work on the mind and stuff as well too. That doesn't mean that I am always physically and mentally with it. A lot of people can fall under the impression that I have everything in order. I don't. I'll get messages sometimes, you're so positive, I'd love to have your mindset, or I'd love to live life the way you live it and stuff. And it's like, I'm a human being. I have really hard times, I have really good times, like that. I'm fortunate enough now to have tools to help me endure the hard times and get through them. I like to be congruent. The past couple of months for me have been hard as a result of falling into that mental lockdown. So yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is no one's perfect. So if you feel like you're going through the motions now while everyone else is back to normal, even if it might appear I'm back to normal and stuff, people are still struggling. You're not the only one, like that. just force yourself out of it. You're not going to want to do X, Y, and Z, or feel like doing it in the immediate moment because you're so used to doing what you've been doing every single day the past 2 years. Do it. It's going to be a lot harder in the long term to not do it than it would be to get up and do it in the immediate moment, you know. So keep that in mind. Look after yourself. Keep the head. Physically, we are free. It's time now to start unshackling ourselves mentally and emotionally too.